Up until now, BMW's answer to Mercedes' CLS has been the 5 Gran Turismo, which really isn't in the same vein as the sexy and sassy CLS. But now BMW has scripted a fine reply to the CLS, and I suggest everyone and all its rivals sit up and take notice, because the 6 Series Gran Coupe is here. This is the first 4-door car of the BMW 6 Series family. It follows the convertible and the 2-door coupe, and it just feels so right. This car is stunning. I know it looks very similar to other BMWs, but the size and the proportions of it make it just so imposing and delicious. For me, the Gran Coupe is the most beautiful machine of the 6 Series family. It feels long, low and wide in just the right proportions. The bonnet stretches for miles. The taut roofline swoops up and slices down immediately. And this glittering brown color makes it look absolutely wild. It's effortlessly graceful and understated. Its 4 pillarless doors look incredibly elegant too. And the only place you'll see the Gran Coupe badge is tucked away on the rear door pillar. In terms of length, the Gran Coupe is over 10 centimeters longer than the 6 Series Coupe, and it is just as wide as the 6. And this is good news for the rear passengers. But getting in and out isn't particularly easy. And while legroom is decent, you can't wedge your feet under the front seats. And with a sporty roofline, headroom will be tight for taller passengers. And the 5th passenger seated in the middle is going to find himself in a bit of an awkward position, as the center tunnel protrudes all the way to the rear seat. But the seats themselves are beautifully sculpted, and the interiors are tastefully finished. Now, I could stare at the Gran Coupe for a long time, but I wanted to get a taste of the machine on the road. Packaged under that long hood is BMW's renowned 3-litre inline 6 diesel motor. Using twin turbos, this motor developed 313 bhp of power and 64 kilograms of torque, which is then fed to the rear wheels. This 3-litre motor is hugely impressive and incredibly fun. You've got lots of diesel torque and it's spread all over the rev range, so you can just put your foot down and it'll get going. The thing is, in these kind of wet conditions, even with the ESP on, it's wriggling around a lot. I was making the most of the beautiful roads and had my foot firmly planted on the throttle. It felt like the Gran Coupe would match the company claimed 0 to 100 km/h time of 5.4 seconds easily. From there, it surely will hit its 250 km/h top speed without getting hassled. The motor certainly has more than adequate performance, but its sense of excitement is somewhat lacking. It's a pretty refined motor as well, but it doesn't have that oral note that you want when you're driving hard and fast. But it was hard to fault the hardware. Unobtrusively, all the little bits were whirring away in this fine machine. You almost don't notice that the 8-speed gearbox is doing such a fine job, actually, because it does it so well. It shifts quickly, shifts when you want it to, and in the manual mode, it's prompt with its shifts as well. The Gran Coupe responds well to enthusiastic driving. It's built on the 6 Coupé platform, which means the suspension is an independent double wishbone setup at the front and a 5-link rear. But can this near 1900 kg Grand Tourer deliver the BMW driving experience? Now, the steering is quick and pretty playful. Just the slightest input sends the 6 changing directions. But on the downside, it doesn't have that great granularity in terms of the feel you get of the road, or it could be just the weather conditions just now. But that aside, a big downer here is all the electronic aids. They tend to cut in and kill the steering feel. Despite the cold and wet tarmac and the slightly unpredictable electric steering, the Gran Coupe was monstering the corners. Now, the Gran Coupe is a big car, and for its size it does a remarkable job of flowing smoothly through the corners. It really is quite enjoyable. The only thing is that it's not a car that you really enjoy hustling really hard and really fast. But when you wind things down a bit, the Gran Coupe is a happy companion. The engine is relaxed as it chews up kilometers and the suspension is comfortable too. Now, driving over all the smooth roads around Munich, it really was kind of hard to make out the difference between all the modes in terms of how the ride was. It really is that good on most counts. It's very pliant. But when you hit the bigger bumps, when we found some of them, it was easy to see that stiffness, that firm edge that the suspension has, that really just kind of kicks through into the cab. At the end of the day, the Gran Coupe is trying to blur the boundary between a big luxury saloon and a sports coupe. So, does it manage to do that, and can it take on the competition? Now, BMW may have come to the four-door hot coupe category a little late, but what a splash they've made with the arrival of the Gran Coupe. Now, this car just blends athleticism and stylishness in just the right proportions. It has a bomb of a motor. The 640D we drove today really gives you that torquey, exhilarating performance, along with diesel efficiency, which should prove to be very popular in India. Even though the back seats won't rival a 7 Series, they are very usable. And BMW has launched this package in India at a price tag of 86 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi, which means it is priced to take on Audi's diesel A7 head on.